We've now come to the end of Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. Fantastic season as a whole. But this is our final episode. This is called The Beginning. And if you haven't seen this episode yet, or the entirety of Season 6 as a whole, I'd be a bit surprised if you watched episode 16 before watching any of the other episodes. But if you haven't seen any of these episodes yet, do not watch this review, because this review is going to contain full spoilers for the entirety of Season 6. You've been warned. Season 6 as a whole of Fear has just been one absolutely amazing and mind-blowing season. Coming off Season 5, I had no anticipation. I was very heavily contemplating actually not even watching Season 6. I thought the back half was just god-awful. Week to week, it was just painful to watch. And that big cliffhanger at the end, I felt like it was just a big middle finger to everyone. So I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'm done with Fear the Walking Dead. But then they were at first they were kind of hinting at, oh, is Morgan alive? Is he alive? And everyone knew he was alive, but everyone felt like this is probably just a way of them getting a lot of viewers in. But then after a while, they're like, okay, everyone knows he's alive. Let's just start showing him in the marketing. And then the marketing looked really good. You saw Morgan with that big beard, which I really wish he kept. He had the cowboy hat on, and he had the bloodshot eyes. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then episode 1 came out, and it was fantastic. And then from that point onwards, Season 6 has just been, honestly, it's been amazing. I think the only, not even a bad episode, but the weakest episode I think was episode 10 with Daniel. I think that could have been after two great episodes in episode 9 and 8, and then 10 I found to be quite slow of an episode. So that's not even to say it's a bad episode. It was just slower than the rest of the season. Even Tanktown, whichever that was, episode 5 or 6, whatever that was. But for the most part, Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 has been honestly amazing. And the finale it's no different. This is a fantastic finale. I would debate that it's not... Ooh, I don't know if it's my favourite episode of the season. It's very high up there. I love episode 1. I thought episode 8 and 9 were fantastic. Episode 15 was great. And episode 12, I actually really liked all the dream sequence stuff. But episode 16... I loved seeing all our characters in these places where they all thought they were going to die. So many people. The way this episode started off is a way I was not expecting it to go off. And I was quite brutal and quite shocked. We actually see the woman whose husband had saved Morgan in episode 1. She's trying to get away with her child, who's also named Morgan. And the dog Rufus. The tire on the car breaks. She tries to replace it and the tire falls on her leg. And you see the bone sticking out. And that was just horrible to watch. And then she tries to get away. She ties her leg up with a bit of timber just to try and get away. But of course, doesn't work. So she sacrifices herself. She puts the baby on her back. She gags herself and then stabs herself in the stomach while she's tied to Rufus. So Rufus leads the mother and the child to find anyone. And I thought that was an amazing and quite a heartbreaking way to start off this episode. Like, we're not very familiar with this character. We met her in episode 1 and we've seen her throughout the season randomly. But it's a horrible thing to have to watch someone do that, especially a mother to pretty much a newborn. I don't think the kid's a couple of months old at this stage, but it was horrible to watch. Like, from memory, there was no music, so you're just there in it. You're just watching this brutal thing, nothing at all. And you hear the nuclear bomb. It was just a really, really sad opening to the episode. But the episode then takes place, you got 4, I want to say, main stories taking place at different times. First up, we're going to talk about kind of our larger group. You got Daniel and all the people inside of the, is it the A-Rats, the truck's called? And they're just driving around trying to find a place. They actually have Riley with them, and Riley was bringing them to the location. They're driving there. Daniel heard something on the radio, but no one believes him because he's kind of lost it a little bit. So they're on the way there. They pull into a place that's in the middle of nowhere because the truck, I think the brakes went or something, and then they're all debating, like, walkers come, they're all fighting the walkers, and all of a sudden Daniel shoots a guy named Rowley, something like that in the head. The guy who was actually with Dwight's wife, Sherry, who was with Sherry for the majority of the season, the guy with the beard. He shoots him in the head, and I was like, okay, what the fuck is happening here? And it's actually revealed that he is one of the End is the Beginning group. He actually was one of the people who was kind of giving the information about Tanktown and all that information out there. He was working for Teddy all this time. So Daniel shot him point blank in the head. Then Riley gets up to come out and see what the hell is happening. And then Charlie shoots him, and it was just I was quite surprised to see Daniel do that, and then to see Charlie be the one, because I heard the bang, and I immediately went, oh shit, okay, Daniel just killed him too. And then to see it was Charlie, I was like, holy shit, this does not make me like you. I still don't like you. But it was quite cool to see Charlie actually do something, kind of serve a purpose, because she doesn't really serve much of a purpose at all really this season. But anyways, they're okay. They're like, where do we go? Where do we go? And Daniel's like, they put their fate in Daniel. They go to the location he had found, and it is taken by the CRM. And is her name Elizabeth? No, it's not Elizabeth. I don't know. Whatever the character's name, who has a love interest of Al. She takes her away. They takes the whole group on the helicopter away. I doubt that's going to go straight into the Walking Dead movies. I doubt it's going to go straight into the world beyond. But I want to know what's going to happen here, because the CRM is very heavily now. Well, not heavily, but we get a good prominence of them in this episode. Now everyone knows about them. If they know about it, they're going to tell Morgan. They're going to tell Strand, Alicia. Everyone's going to know about the CRM now in Fear the Walking Dead. So it's just a matter of time that they kind of want to look into it, because they're obviously going to want to look into it. Morgan and the group have been struggling trying to find a home ever since they've all joined together. And if there's a group out there that has 20,000 members living in a place where they're still able to use helicopters, of course Morgan and the group are going to want to join that. It's just inevitable. It'd be weird if they didn't want to join that community, if they were good people anyways, which they got Rick, so they're probably not good people. But that's their storyline. You also got Strand, who is just running, well not running, he's on horseback as far away from there as he possibly can get. And he ends up with this guy who, at first, when seeing the location, I thought it was going to be, oh, I can't remember the guy's name. The Indian from, is it Taka? I don't know. The Indian guy from season 3. At first, I thought it was going to be him. And that was just because the first thing we see in the doorframe isn't Indian. And I thought, okay, hopefully, that's going to be him. Of course, it wasn't him. It was this other guy who's a painter. And I don't mind his character. Of course, we're probably going to see a lot more of him in season 7. But he was a grand character, but throughout the whole thing, it was very weird, because Strand knew that the reason they failed is down to him. He blames himself for this, as he should do. It was all his fault. But he's telling the guy that, I can't even get his name, I think I have it here, Howard. He's telling Howard all about the fact that he is Morgan Jones. He was the guy who tried to sacrifice himself, and he goes on and on about how he's Morgan Jones. And then once the bomb goes off, and then they're safe, they're not going to be hurt at all, Strand lets him know that he is not Morgan Jones, he's Victor Strand. And I always think it's weird when someone calls him Victor. He's Strand to me, so I always think it's very weird when he gets called Victor. But he gives a speech, and he's saying like stuff like his time to shine. He's not going to be, pretty much he's not going to be the good guy anymore. And I don't know if Strand is going to be the big bad of season 7, but Strand looks like he's going down a road that he's going to be a villain moving forward. And the only one who can take him back is possibly Alicia. Maybe Madison will show back up. But he's he's coming down a path that I'm actually very excited for, because Strand is a character I love, but I also hate him because he is a very unlikable character. But the way Coleman Domingo plays him, I just think it's fantastic. I love that guy. I think he's just really, really, really charismatic, really likable. Just seeing him on Instagram and then other movies he's in, I just really like him as an actor. So I'm glad he is still going to be on Fear the Walking Dead. But what's going to happen with his character? He's a character that you never know if you're with him or against him, and I'm really excited to see what does happen moving forward with Strand. I said there was 4 storylines. There actually is 5. You got Dwight and Sherry, who are going out on their own, and they're quite happily just accepting it. They're going to go off, they're going to go find some pretzels and beer, which of course is their thing, and they're just going to die together. They're happy enough to just die together. But then they go to a house, they find some beer, they find this family who desperately are just trying to survive. They find out they had a bunker, but some of the Ends is the Beginning people have taken that bunker. So Dwight and Sherry, they lure them out, they kill them all, and they take the bunker back. They all go in there and they survive the blast. I'm glad Dwight and Sherry are going to survive. I kind of was thinking, I had a feeling they were going to die, just purely because I'd like to see them with Negan. But I was also thinking, if they're going to go, they're definitely going to go together. I couldn't see one dying and the other surviving. I just couldn't see the circumstances, because they just got back together. I couldn't see any kind of situation where that was going to play out. There was a poster theory that everyone was saying, the crying posters. Everyone thought Dwight was going to die because Sherry was crying in the poster. Of course, we know, no, that didn't happen. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Dwight and Sherry moving forward. Just, they're Walking Dead characters. I'm just very curious to see what's going to happen with them. Are they ever going to see Negan again? I imagine at some point they are, but when exactly is that going to happen? Our second last story is Teddy, Dakota, June, and John Dory Sr. That was that was interesting. I like the kind of Teddy and John Dory have some great chemistry back and forth. You can see that even though they've never been together, never been on screen together, you can see a hatred, especially coming from John Dory. And I like that whole scene, all the back and forth. You actually get to see Dakota being the one to kill Teddy, which is not what I was expecting. I was expecting him to go out in the blast, but she shoots him in the head, or in the stomach, and then she says, okay, you're never going to see the end. Then she shoots him in the head, because it's actually revealed that Teddy never actually planned on dying. He actually planned on going in a bunker. He actually was full of shit, so he never actually did plan for that. June and John Dory go into the bunker that Teddy had planned. This is full of supplies and everything. They'll be okay for a good bit down there anyways. And we get to see something that I was kind of hoping we get to see in this episode. And I was kind of hoping we get to see a little bit more in this episode. But what we got to see is Dakota being destroyed by the missile. You literally see 1 minute she's there. The next minute she is a full burnt body like it was in Pompeii. Her body has been completely destroyed. I had a feeling she wasn't going to survive this season, but that was a way. I'm glad we got to see at least one character go out that way, because that was a way kind of setting up a missile storyline. You expect to see it like that, and I'm glad that we did get to see at least one character go out that way. And then our final storyline throughout this episode was Morgan and Grace, and they were actually going to commit suicide. They were discussing, she's saying how they said how they love each other. Morgan was saying he always thought when he met Grace that he could actually have that life again. He could have a wife, he could have a child, but just the way things worked out, it didn't actually work out for them. They were going to commit suicide because they didn't want to watch each other die of radiation poisoning, so they were going to shoot themselves in the head. And they were talking like, oh, I can hear our baby crying, I wish we had our baby, I can hear her crying. And then they go, hold on, there's actually a baby crying nearby. They go outside of the submarine, and then the woman who I'm blanking on her name, I can't remember, baby Morgan, comes up. They put down the mother. Now they have baby Morgan, and they're happy. They're very happy. And all of a sudden the missile comes. It blows up. You see a rush of smoke and bloody God knows what else coming right for them. And where I was imagining everyone would have to be in a bunker, they just got underneath a car. And I felt like that was just... that very much could be a way of surviving it. I don't really know. But I just found it to be a bit disappointing. I was kind of expecting it to be like they'd have to rush and get inside the submarine. I felt like them just getting underneath a truck was just a bit anticlimactic. I was expecting something bigger than that. But that's what happens. They go out and then they're fine. They survive it. They're covered in dust and all that, but they're out looking around. And then that's the end of season 6. Really letting off. I still strongly believe that we are going to get a time skip in season 7. I'd be shocked if this, like, literally 5 minutes later season 7 starts. I feel like there's going to have to be a time skip. Maybe they'll do what they did in the season 6 premiere of The Walking Dead, where they had the grey in the past and then the colour was in the future. Maybe they'll do something like that where they're going back and forth, or even like the start of season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, having the 2 time periods until they meet up, just for the first episode or 2, just to kind of give like how our characters either found each other or what they had done, because I wouldn't be surprised if it is 5, 6, 7, 8 years, just to kind of get up with the Walking Dead timeline, if the fact that all our characters have to be underground for 5 years, and then it comes to 5 years and June and John have been in there together all this time, Grace and the kid and Morgan have been together, and then all these characters haven't seen each other in 5 years. I think that'd be pretty cool. I imagine if that is the case, if there's a time skip, even though I said they aren't going to the CRM, I imagine they probably will end up going to the CRM if it's just not safe for them to go anywhere else. I wouldn't expect to see him in the Rick Grimes movie, because the only one there I really like in that truck is Daniel from the... Is it just... yeah, it's just Daniel. Daniel's the only one I actually really like out of them, so I wouldn't really care. Daniel, I wouldn't mind seeing the Rick Grimes movies, but if I had a choice, it would be Morgan, but I think that's everyone's choice. I'm excited to see what's going to happen moving forward in Fear the Walking Dead Season 7. I did a predictions video. My predictions were in around. It was close enough. My deaths were kind of not really there. But I'm actually... Season 6 as a whole, it's the best season of Fear the Walking Dead for me. I was debating up until a couple of hours ago if I like this one more or Season 3, but I really enjoyed this. I do miss Nick and Madison, but Morgan is my second favourite Walking Dead character after the main man right here. I'm just really glad that we still get to see him, and I think the whole missile storyline was great. I thought the whole Pioneer storyline, which feels like a lifetime ago now, that whole storyline was great. Season 6 as a whole has just been fantastic, and you'd never think that Season 5 was a setup season to this. Well, for the most part, it was a setup season. but you'd never think that what the writers of that were able to do with this season. You'd never think it. You'd think they're two completely different writers. Still have some characters I'm missing, like where are those kids? I imagine we're never going to see them. Wendell gets a mention in this episode, but did he die in the radiation? I don't know, unless someone helped him get out of there. I can't see how he'd get out of there himself. Of course, he is in a wheelchair. I don't imagine he's able to drive a car, so I don't know how Wendell would get out of there. So I imagine unless it's revealed in the first couple of episodes that someone helped him, I imagine he's dead. And like, kind of disappointing, because I liked him. I thought he was a kind of fun guy. I liked him more than Sarah anyways. I'm not really a big fan of Sarah, but Wendell, I liked him. I thought he was a bit of fun. But we'll find all that out in season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead. If you want to hear my review of those episodes, whenever that actually does drop, as far as I know, they've been filming it for a bit now. I think a photo actually got revealed today. I kind of looked at it. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but Fear the Walking Dead season 7 is probably coming sooner rather than later. I'd say September, October by the time we get it. Well, The Walking Dead starts in August. That'll bring us up to end of September, start of October. And I imagine when that's over, we'll go Fear the Walking Dead season 7. And I'm very, very excited for Fear the Walking Dead season 7. So if you want to hear my thoughts on those episodes when they inevitably drop, as well as The Walking Dead season 11, which is the final season, and World Beyond season 2, all those in the future, if you want to hear all my thoughts on all those episodes, click the subscribe button so you can come back and hear my future thoughts on anything Walking Dead related. And as always, thanks for watching.